Welcome to the Mouth That Roared. Free speech, real opinions, and more exclusively on Podbean.com. Check out the video version of this show. I like to call it Chris C TV, exclusively on YouTube and Facebook. And now, without further ado, here is the host of the Mouth That Roared, me, Chris Sheehan. Hello everybody, and welcome to today's edition of the Mouth That Roared, exclusively on Podbean.com. Now, I am your host, Chris Sheehan, and on today's show, I would like to talk a little bit. I want to continue with the Kavanaugh, this, I guess you can call it Kavanaugh Part 3, because, you know, even though the whole outcome of what happened yesterday, even though the verdict, or whatever you want to call it, has been reached, I still feel the need to talk about the so-called victim, you know? The so-called victim, again, is Christine Blasey Ford, who basically, in my opinion, is a con artist bitch, you know? I think that she is a lying sack of shit. I think that she doesn't deserve the right to go around and have all of this media attention, you know? Have all of these people covering her pretend story, because let's face it, I believe that this was a pretend story. I believe that, you know, many of these claims that she has made has been basically all lies. I mean, she has not been able to prove any of these things. It seems that her memory is off. Everything that she is reminded about, for some reason, she just cannot remember how many beers she had, where she was, who she was with. For some reason, everything's a little bit fuzzy. So, you know, I think that is the reason why she is a liar. I don't believe her. I don't trust her as far as I could throw her, which, you know, she's a pretty skinny woman, so, I mean, you could throw her pretty far, I would imagine. But, you know, I don't trust her at all. I think she's a con artist. I think, you know, if anything, I wouldn't be surprised, and I don't want to spread conspiracy theories or anything like that, but if anything, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow George Soros was involved with this whole thing. Now, it's already been established that George Soros was involved with the so-called victims in the elevator, where they were yelling at the politician in the elevator. I don't remember who the politician was, but they were holding the elevator open, and they kept yelling at him, saying, you know, he was shaming abuse and all that kind of stuff, and all the victims of abuse. And, you know, I think honestly it's a bunch of crap. I mean, I think it's already been proven, by the way, that Soros was involved. These people worked for him. They worked for his company. I don't know what the name of his company is, but you know what? The guy's a billionaire, so he probably owns multiple companies. Now, you know, back to Christine Blasey Ford, I think not only is she a liar, but I think, what else are you supposed to believe about her? That's the other problem. I mean, does she actually have a family? Is she lying about that? You know, does she actually have kids? Does she actually have a husband? You know, does she actually have that second door that she was talking about that she needed for protection? Remember how she said that she needed a second front door so then that way she could feel more safe and secure? Does she actually have that door? I want to see pictures of this bitch's house. Let me be honest. I want to see pictures of every little detail, every little nook and cranny. I want to see every little piece of detail and information, you know, to actually be able to trust this woman. But until the meantime, I don't trust her as far as I can throw her. So with that being said, you know, congratulations. I want to congratulate what's his face? What's the judge's name? Kavanaugh. I want to congratulate Kavanaugh. You know, I think that it really is the world that we're living in now, where people have become victims who haven't even done anything. You know, people have become, basically, as soon as you get successful, that's when everybody starts crawling out of the woodwork, you know, and really it needs to stop. I mean, it seems as if people are just, they want your success, you know, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, I feel like that's what this woman was trying to accomplish. I think, you know, and I'm not gonna, let me backtrack for a little bit. I'm not gonna say it's all just her fault. I think a lot of it had to do with the Democratic Party. I think a lot of it had to do with people putting her up to this. You know, I don't want to point any fingers, but, you know, Feinstein or Feinstein, whatever the old bitch's name is, You know, she amazes me, though, that Feinstein, I have to admit. Or Feinstein, whatever. I don't even know her name, you know. The old wrinkled lady that looks like she's been in there for 150 years, you know. I mean, she's got wrinkles from everywhere. God knows how long she's been in that Senate. I mean, really, did they even let her out to go to the bathroom? I mean, honestly. I mean, it seems like they just lock all these people up in that building all day and night, you know. I mean, it amazes me, though. I mean, as old as these people are, they're still able to be voted in there. You know, term limits won't help because people always find a loophole. You know, it will always be that people will, no matter how old you are, whether you're 85, like in Feinstein's case, or Feinstein, whatever, again, whatever the hell her name is, she's 85 years old, and, you know, it just amazes me. You know, 85 years old, you should be retired at the senior home by then. You know, you shouldn't be doing this shit. And then you have people like the lady from Maine. I can't remember her name. The one that voted for Kavanaugh. I can't remember the lady's name. But when I saw the picture of her, I could have sworn she was the same age as Feinstein. I mean, really, I literally thought that woman was 85 years old. Then I went on Wikipedia, and I got the shock of my life when I found out that this woman was 65 years old. I mean, with all those wrinkles and all those bat wings and all kinds of things, it's amazing. It's remarkable that people who look that way are actually that much younger. I mean, they look exactly like they could be twins, you know? But anyway, I digress. I want to go back to, again, Christine Ford, and, you know, God only knows where she's going to go from here, you know? Is she going to be able to live a normal life? Will the press be bothering her? I mean, you know, how long could this all play out, is what I'm getting at, you know? How much longer could CNN handle this, you know, come up with stories involving her somehow, you know? And I think it's going to take a toll on not only her, you know, but on everybody, on the mainstream media's part, on, you know, just all of this stuff is going to somehow affect everybody involved. And, you know, I think Ford will have a lot of, I don't really want to say this, but I think she's going to possibly receive some kind of job out of this. You know, I think that CNN might be on the phone with her. You know, they might have her on as like a contributor to something. I mean, it seems like that's what they do, you know, people that they can't stand, you know, especially, I don't want to say this, but Republicans, especially Republicans who they can't stand, for some reason they are so quick to just stomp all over them, no matter what they have done, even if they've done good for people. CNN in particular is just so quick to stomp them out. Now, you know, I hope, and, you know, I don't like calling people bitches and lying bitches and wrinkled old bitches and all of that kind of bitches, but, you know, everybody who acts the way that this woman has acted needs to have their heads shoved up their asses, and I mean that in the sincerest form, because, you know, you have to get your head, you have to get your head out of your ass, because, you know, people who actually believe people like this, where stories are not really remembered, you know, people are getting all of this airtime, they're getting all of this publicity, all of this media attention, and yet for some reason, that's all fine and dandy, you know, and nobody actually thinks that these people are guilty, nobody actually thinks that these people are innocent. It's all just basically like a big game to everybody, you know, and then not to mention the protesters and all that kind of stuff, where people like that, they're all outside. Amy Schumer got arrested. If only they could have locked her up in a jail cell and thrown away the key, but I digress. You know what? You can't have everything. So, with all that being said, I thank you all for joining me, and goodbye, everybody.